Hello. We're in like the middle of eclipse season. And y'all, it hasn't been as bad as it sounds like for me towards everybody else. Well, I think I said that wrong. It hasn't been the way that everybody else is portraying it for themselves. I feel like it hasn't been that bad for me. But only thing I'm really dealing with right now is just I guess cleaning up some situations that I let go of recently. And it's so crazy because I got a message today. I'm being very open with my business. I got a message from somebody I used to date, um, one of my ex boyfriends. And okay, he followed me like 9 weeks ago. I seen that he followed me, but I'm like, girl, nobody has time for that shit. Nobody has time for that shit. So I never followed back. But then he texted today. He was like, follow back. And I started to respond and be like, do you want me to follow back just so we can follow each other, or is this just for you to, you know how they be. I'm not the type of person to dibble and dabble and shit like that. I'm really not. So I didn't say anything back. I just followed him back. And then he texted again and was like, and text back. And so, I'm thinking, I'm like, what, let me start a conversation, see where his head at. So um we talking, we're talking, and then finally there he goes talking about, oh, I miss you, all this other stuff. And in my head, honestly, I feel like maybe it's just the fact that I've been through a lot of things, because this is one of my ex-boyfriends from high school. So maybe, I don't know, like I feel like I don't really remember my high school relationships, and it could be but like due to my past relationship. I guess I just went through a lot that it kind of like altered my brain towards certain things. Like, I don't know. 'Cause I genuinely don't remember much about my past relationships. And usually when I would engage with these people again, like it would kind of pop up or resurface. But no, like as of recently, when somebody that's like my ex or something would text me, I try and not get a feel for what happened, but I more so try to like, engage in conversation. So I guess I can remind myself as to why I got the fuck away in the first place. But obviously it wasn't nothing that was like very big because I don't really remember it. It had to be some shit like manipulation, gaslighting, shit like that. Like I don't play that shit, but it's not as big as the shit that I had to go through with in my last relationship. It wasn't that crazy. But so yeah, I'm talking to him, and then he brings up the stuff that happened in the past. Like he's getting on my ass, and I'm like, damn, like he's really angry about this. Like he's really angry about this, and I'm like, damn, like is this stuff still affecting you? He like, yeah, yeah. That's all I was saying. He's like, yes, yes, it is. And so I was like, damn. So I just took that time. I took that moment to just be apologetic for whatever the fuck it is that I put him through, because I do feel like we grew up living two different lives for sure. And I'm the type of person, like I said it before on here, I don't really date, a specific type of person. I like to switch it up. So there's different types of people that I've dated, like very, very different. Like there's no, everybody probably got their own category. I can't lie to you. Yeah, everybody, there's nobody that's like slick alike at all. So yeah, only thing that I could say that was really like similar when it came to us had to be the school we went to. And then this was somebody I've been knowing since like pre-K, and we just ended up, reconnecting. And then um we went to high school together, and then that's when we, yeah, yeah. But Yeah, no, I just have to apologize because I'm like, coming from where I am now and looking back on the things that I did, it was overboard. I used to be a really really big tit for tat person, like very big, because at that time he had broke up with me. And he didn't give me a real reason as to why he broke up with me. He made up some excuse. And I knew it was a lie. I did. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go back and forth with him about it. He doesn't want to be with me. That's okay. And I think that was my second relationship. I don't know. But after that, girl, I just started doing what the fuck ever. I just started doing whatever, and not whatever as like I just started cutting up and just being like wild and stuff. I just started getting real strategic about the shit that I do. And yeah, of course it bothered him. But coming from where I am right now, in my head I'm thinking, why didn't he say anything? But apparently he did. That's what he said. He said something. But since my memory is already foggy, I can't decipher if that's true or not. So I just went along with it. I'm like, well, that was wrong on my end. I didn't have to do all of that, and I apologize. And that kind of showed me, I don't know, cuz I kind of already knew that he was about to text my phone on some, I'm not, I almost said some weird shit. I'm not even going to say weird because low key his anger is valid, very much so, but I'm like, I knew he was about to text me, I guess, stating that he missed. Like I genuinely feel like I can't. I He wanted me to say it back, but I can't. Like I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie because I don't really remember much. All I remember is what happened after the fact. I don't remember the relationship itself, but I can say I did love him then. That's neither here nor there. But that led me to further realizations, I guess you could say. That kind of showed me that, I don't know, people have a certain image of me in their heads. Like this is why I genuinely do not like to really reconnect with people from the past after I cut them off, because I know how big I am when it comes to evolving. So when I come back around, they're probably expecting that same person. Because, when people view other people, they have a specific type of image, or I guess a certain way that they would expect a person to act. And sometimes when those expectations don't go the way that they're expecting, it causes more issues, and he can save it. I no. So having a conversation with him just simply showed me, and that's all I have to fucking say. That is all I have to say. Like, that's all I have to say. And I was telling him, like, I low key was trying to break it down to him, like, I'm not the same person. I don't want to sound like, a head ass or anything, but I'm not the same person. Like, that's not me anymore. The person that you dated in 10th grade, no, not 10th grade, 11th grade, that's not me. That is not me. And that was a very loose version of me. I'll classify it as that. But yeah, that's not me. I'm much more contained now. I'm much more aware of the things that I did. And then it's crazy because before I even responded back to his message when he originally texted me, I kind of went through our message thread to kind of, refresh my memory. This is how bad it is. But, to try and refresh my memory, I'm like, damn, I'm kind of harsh. Like, I'm damn, like, like my comebacks were so aggressive, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So he's telling me he missed me and all this other stuff. So I'm trying to understand, like, what exactly do you miss? You know, I'm asking him, you miss me? What do you miss about me? Like, it is not to be, I don't know. It's not to do too much or like, I don't know, try and validate myself. Is more to just help me understand, like, what part of you felt like, I guess I was quote unquote the love of your life. What made you feel like that? And he was like, he likes the aggressiveness. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not me anymore. So you miss her. You don't miss me. You don't know me. And I literally told him, like, I feel like I would have to like get to know you all over again. Cause we're not the same people. But judging on the way our conversation went, nah. Mm-mm. But yeah. So then that led me to further believe, because I also read my horoscope for the day, and it was so crazy because I read this like a couple hours ago. That conversation I had with that man was early in the morning. I read this like a couple hours ago. They said somebody from the past is going to pop up and they're going to show you something that's different about yourself. Did I say it right? Something that's different about you. Like, it's going to emphasize something or a change within yourself. So you're letting go of a certain I guess personality trait. And I'm like, huh, huh. And then also, it's a whole different situation, but they coincide together because, I'm sitting listening to music and I'm realizing like the songs I'm listening to, I can relate to them. I'm like, damn, like, and these are songs that have been out for years. Like, I've been listening to these songs since I was a child. So I'm like, damn, like, I never really paid attention to the lyrics. And all of a sudden, like, the lyrics is hitting because I can feel them. So I'm like, I'm like, well, damn. And the last video I made, yeah, I realized that, I don't know, the world kind of deems like feeling a certain way for a person and a person not feeling that same way as a bad thing. And I feel like it could be if you're like actively chasing this person. But if you're just simply trying to feel your emotions, that's a whole different thing. So in my head, I'm really like, I'm paying attention to the lyrics, but I'm not really getting, I'm not really diving deep into it, but I'm paying attention to the lyrics. So I'm like, you know what? Let me sit and listen to the music. Let me just, because I was also playing Spider at the time. That's like my that's my game. But I'm like, okay, let me put the iPad down and let me pay attention. So I'm sitting here listening to the music, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to say I'm heartbroken. I'm grieving something right now, and it's not just school. I'm grieving a person, and I'm like, damn. And I feel like this situation is just so abnormal for me because I'm used to, I guess you could say, kind of having a wall up when it comes to people, because I guess it's just something I adapted, over time, especially being that I grew up being big on fantasizing. A lot of my childhood reality did not turn out the way that I wished or hoped for it to. So yeah, I was real big on creating scenarios in my head. Really, really big on creating scenarios in my head. Like really, really big. And it just came to a point probably midsummer where I was like able to, have a handle over that or able to control it and able to stop trying to fantasize about things and actually just, let things be what it is. And that's a coping mechanism that I use to kind of like make me feel a little bit better about the way that things go. But, over time, it lessened for sure. I remember I used to tell one of my friends, like, yeah, I be daydreaming a lot to well, I basically broke down the reason for me daydreaming. I basically told her, like, girl, yeah, it's just to kind of alter my reality, make it better. And I was like, I'm working on stopping. But during that time, it really didn't even seem like I was working on stopping. It seemed as though like I did it even more after that. But I can't say I'm at a point now. I don't really do it for real. I do it sometimes, low key if I'm bored. But I feel like I allow myself to do it when I'm bored because I feel like something could manifest from it. Like I could create something from that if that makes sense. Something like artistic is what I'm saying. But girl, yeah. I forgot where I was going with that, but no, that music definitely made me realize um I'm not really taking the necessary well, I'm not gonna say I'm not taking the necessary steps to get over a certain situation. It's more so I'm trying not to feed into the delusion that I want. I'm trying to just accept it for what it is and what it possibly because I feel like I also know what it truly is, but I don't have any confirmation. So it's like I can't I'm gonna look at it for what I see. What the fuck I'm being given. I'm gonna just take it as that. Yeah. Real crazy, crazy situation. Real crazy, crazy. But I also realized I brought that up because I'm saying this to say that um growing up, ever since my first boyfriend, I've been dating consistently. Consistently. Like if I wasn't dating somebody, I was in a relationship. And if it wasn't not the latter, if it wasn't both of those, I was probably just like, doing that thing where they call it a roster. Yeah. It wasn't until after my last boyfriend, I literally stopped. Like I have not talked to anybody since him outside of the person that I'm mentioning. And that's when I finally started back, talking to someone. But girl, I just feel like I couldn't after that. I was like, that was really, really deep. That was really, really tough. Like that was something I felt like, when you're like overstimulated and you just need some quiet. That's what it felt like. I felt like that relationship really, really overstimulated me. Like it really did a lot to my physical, my mental, emotional, spiritual. I was just like, girl, yeah, no, we're gonna have to take a step back. We gotta breathe because it's too much. But it was still kind of I guess okay, in my head the situation was done, but I still was relying on somebody else after that. I literally, quite literally was still relying oh my god, it's all clicking now. I still was relying on somebody else after that. But it was one of my friends. And I had developed like a really, 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 really deep dependence on her. And it wasn't until we really stopped like hanging out and stuff that I was like, damn. And that in my head, that's probably why it was so hard for me to let. not let go because it really wasn't hard. It was more so it just hurt really, really bad. And it's like I never, oh my gosh, I never got emotional over having to cut somebody off ever. Well, outside of one person, which was also somebody that I met. Um, well, basically, she was there throughout my relationship. She was there, and we was close. But shortly after the relationship, I stopped talking to her, and then in the midst, the other friend was still there. She just wasn't there to really witness the relationship. She was there to witness the end of it. I don't know if she remember any of that, and I probably wasn't saying shit about it because, girl. But yeah. So at this point, we were like locked in. I like to think we were locked in. I don't know because sometimes, especially being that I've had like an ego death or whatever, all of this stuff really happened after the fact. Well, my ego death happened after the fact. So like I can't really tell. I don't know. Sometimes I be thinking I don't really trust what I once knew, because I don't know if I was mixing it up with what I wanted it to be versus what reality was. So yeah, usually when I speak on the past, I'll be like, I like to think, because that's just what I like to think. Like I like to think that we were really, really, locked in. But yeah, after we stopped talking, that was really, really tough for me. That was tough. That was tough as fuck. I cannot lie. But after that, shortly, I got in cahoots with somebody else. It wasn't, I'm not gonna say shortly, because yeah, I'm gonna say shortly, whatever. I got in cahoots with somebody else. Y'all, it was intense. It was really, really intense. And it was crazy because it was like the last 2, 3 months of school. It was really intense. Really, really intense. But it wasn't up until recently where I was just like, girl, let's stop. Because I feel like we were doing it for all the wrong reasons. And, if I'm trying to evolve from something and this is kind of hindering me from doing that, I could slowly feel myself like feeling some type of way. And I don't want to say it was towards him because it wasn't. It was towards myself. Like I know how I get when I see the issue within something and I'm ignoring it. So I'm just like I didn't sat here and I didn't build this big ass relationship with myself. Don't worry about it. And it's crazy because we wasn't even really, communicating throughout the summer. It would just be like randomly. But I felt like every time we would communicate, I kind of got more of a perspective of what it actually was or what the fuck was actually going on. And granted, I like this person a lot, but girl, I'd rather not even get into that because it just from the information that I have, it does not make sense. It wouldn't make sense and it would be very harmful. I wouldn't say very harmful. That's kind of OD, but it would definitely have an effect on me. You see, it's affecting me now, and girl, conversation was slim to none if you ask me. But yeah. So that led me to really pay attention to the fact that it's so easy to get caught up into other people when I feel like I'm losing something. Are you catching what I'm doing? It's so easy to find myself connected to, and I'm not saying it's not supposed to go like that. I just want to make sure I'm not subconsciously doing that, you know? So I feel like at this point, I have to stop. I have to stop. And I don't feel like I've been having a dependence on anybody either. It's just that I kind of get really, really, I guess you could say excited when somebody comes and fill that void. I get really excited, really, really excited. And I probably need to work on that and see what I could do to understand that. Yeah. So I feel like maybe that's why I'm feeling this deep, deep, deep grievance. Like but it's like I'm not feeling it like, oh my God, I need him back. It's not that. I'm feeling it like, damn, like I, sorry, I don't talk about shit like this, but I miss it. Like, oh my God, I miss it. What the fuck? I do, but I know I feel like nothing's gonna come from it. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it makes sense anymore, especially being that I'm not. We're not in the same vicinity anymore, so it doesn't feel like it's gonna make sense at all. But that's neither here nor there. I do feel like I have been more open to, I guess you could say, dating, but I've been hitting brick walls. I've been hitting brick walls like a motherfucker. Like, girl, it's so crazy. It is so crazy. Um, but it's I'm kind of happy about it because I feel like I like the fact that I'm able to see, the the flags very early on, and it's like I don't have to do too much, and I'm also making sure I'm not doing it just to like self-sabotage. But I can easily see when somebody is doing something just for the sake of them. I can easily see when, something is just strictly sexual. I can easily see when somebody is just not going to understand me. Yeah. So, on the bright side, I'm not getting myself into nothing that's not going to make sense or nothing that could potentially harm me because I just wanted love. I'm learning to grieve this. I am. Is it tough? Mhm. 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 And I do feel like I'm at a state now where I'm more vulnerable, which is probably why that friendship and that last little whatever that was. This is why I don't like shit like that cuz what the fuck do I almost got angry. What do I classify that as? Like I don't yeah, no. But that's neither here nor there. That's probably why I felt so deeply for those things. Cuz I've been working on my vulnerability as of lately, and I have become more vulnerable as a person, and because of that, I'm not so aggressive anymore. I'm not so quick to snap back. I'm more of a calmer person now. So kudos to that. But at what cost? Oh my god, at what cost? At what cost? But I'm not tripping. If it helps me be more susceptible to learning my emotions, why the fuck not? But yeah, no, I'm definitely grieving that. And then what's crazy is we don't have no pictures or nothing, as far as I know. We don't have no pictures. Sorry, we don't have no pictures or nothing together. And you know how hard it is to grieve something where you have like no representation. Like I'm just raw dogging it off of memories, but I also feel like it could be best simply because I deleted our message thread because girl, that situation was stressing me out. I can't lie to you, and I hate shit like that. I do, which is why I was just like, let me just tell him, like, girl, stop. That situation was stressing me out. But yeah, I don't have our messages, so I quite literally, I got nothing to go off of. It's just my thoughts and the happy memories that I have with him. And I prefer it like that. I wouldn't want anything to make me feel negative against him. I want to be able to let go of things and have a positive memory behind it, opposed to trying to like view the person as like a villain or something. I don't want to see him like that. So, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But like, I don't want to see him like that. So, I'm just gonna work it, work through it. But I feel like this might be more feasible. And then it's also led me to think, you know, a lot of people like to take the short road. I mean, the shortcuts when it comes to certain things. So I feel like because I don't really have anything to just sit and, you know, look at, I'm kind of like dealing with everything all at once. And then eventually it's just going to be over. And I'm thinking, damn, like, would that be a quicker process opposed to having like pictures and stuff and being able to look at it and actually, I guess, relive, like, literally relive those moments again? That's probably a longer process. I can't lie to you. So maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, that's that. That's how I feel. That's what's been going on with Kaylin. But yeah, no, I definitely believe that I'm in a headspace where I'm willing to not try and fill a certain void just to, I don't know. I don't even know how to word that. But I honestly believe that I haven't been, I haven't even been using anybody to fill that void. But I know that that void is there because there will be moments where people would call me and I'll be like, damn, I want them to call me again. Like, for the sake of just having somebody to talk to too, and I have to be comfortable with not, having somebody to talk to every fucking second of the day, because I already really don't like that shit, which is the crazy part about it. And so yeah, that's when I started realizing, like, okay, maybe the next time they call, don't answer. I'm dead. But that's just me trying to get used to. I guess maybe I need to do some type of research to see what the fuck is that void there for, some shadow work. But excuse me, outside of that, everything else is Gucci. It's just that particular thing, but I feel like I'm glad that there's nothing else going on outside of that. God damn, because I feel like it would probably be a little stressful. I don't think this is stressful by itself, but I do see how it could manifest into being, a lot. But it is what it is. And that's just that. But yeah. That's neither here nor there. Um, Sorry, we didn't ran up the minutes. I love you though. Thank you for watching. If you even made it this fucking far, this is far as fuck. Thank you for watching. I love you. See you later.